Awesome. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Sound good? Fantastic. Well, welcome and good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. My name is Carrie White. I am a senior customer success account manager, and I have the pleasure of presenting use cases for marketing alongside my colleague, and I'll pass it on over to her.
Hi everyone, this is Jaspreet Dhamija. I'm your senior technical specialist focused on Copilot for M365. And thank you all for joining today and in fact all the other webinars that we have done so far. So welcome to our today's webinar here. Carrie, back to you.
Fantastic. And Jaspreet, that's a great comment to make. I want to know who has already attended one of our webinars. Whatever use case, was it HR? Was it clinical managers? Was it finance? Drop it in the Q&A chat. We'd love to hear if you've already joined some of our workshops. And also, just to say hello, drop where you're from. I see that Wafia is from Greece. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. And as you know, we want to talk about Copilot from the stance of what it is, what it's not. We'll have the use cases and the demos, and then we'll talk more about, we'll have a special guest come with us. So now you know the age of Copilots has arrived. So when you think about M365 for Copilot for M365, what exactly is it? Essentially, it allows you to leverage AI through all of the applications that you already currently use. So think of this as a personal AI assistant to supercharge productivity and also help you with decision making. Some examples and use cases that we'll demonstrate will show powerful tools for marketing managers here today and how you can be more efficient with your time as well as creative. Now, I do want to make sure that we focus on what it's not. It is not autopilot. So we want to make sure to stay in the driver's seat. Copilot does have limitations when you think about it. Working with Copilot, it's like having an endless assistant right next to you to help you manage the pace and the volume of your day. And if you think about it, you have to ask smart to get smart. So if you utilize Copilot as a search engine, it's going to be a one and done answer. If you're going to say, show me this, it might pop up an answer and it ends the conversation. One thing that we want to make sure that you understand is Copilot is interactive. So you want to be able to provide context, state the goal that you have in mind, and ask questions. Can you help me with X? Can you help me understand why? You can keep the conversation going for as long as you want. You can find more insights for as long as you want. And another way to put this from our CTO and our Microsoft CVP and Deputy CTO, Sam Schillis, said, if you want to get better answers, you have to know how to ask better questions. So we'll talk about that more from the art of prompting and making sure you can get the most out of Copilot. Right now, I'm going to turn it on over to Jaspreet.
Thank you, Carrie. I'll try taking control of the slides here, but if not, then please help me.
Yeah.
So, as Carrie said, we are focusing today on the marketing use cases. So just to highlight how Copilot can help here with some of the goals or challenges, if you are working in a marketing kind of a role, marketing, PR, creating any kind of product launches. So of course, it's always harder to, just find the leads, create that content, and then also deliver it. So that's where Copilot can assist. It can provide you feedback. It can really help you create some cool product taglines if that's what you're looking for. And then also really help you do the market research into the stuff that you are looking or comparing different ideas, and then also generating new ideas. So the different roles here, of course, it can help you with, all the different roles that are out there, be it product marketing, content creator, analyst. And on the right-hand side here on the slide, you will see the different KPIs. So this is how you can measure your success while you start using Copilot in your role here. So basically how it's helping you improve your brand value as a customer. So it's really important the messaging that you are putting out, be it through email campaigns or just social media. Then the number of leads created. So it really, because Copilot helps you be efficient and productive, so you can start sending out maybe more emails or creating proposals faster, so that way you are creating or generating more leads versus before. And then the cost per lead generated, you can decrease that. Again, it goes back to the efficiency and the productivity and the content that's generated. So moving on to the next slide. So here are some of the use cases that you can use Copilot for M365 in marketing for. And there are a couple of slides I'll walk through. But basically what it says is, in this scenario, you can collect and share product feedback using Copilot. So as you see on the screen, you can use Copilot in Teams and started to, summarizing the different interviews or surveys you have had, and then drafting the message through Copilot and identifying the themes within Word, again, using it through different applications. Now, the next few slides and all of this, slides that we are presenting will be shared at the end along with our recording. So, feel free to, take notes or not, since we'll be sharing this out. Another one here is coordinating the market research. So again, you can use Copilot in M365 chat and Word to start creating some of the research and then look for more ideas using Copilot in different scenarios. And in the next one here, you will see for a product launch, again, similar kind of workflow, but how you use different applications for this one. And in the next one, just and again, a different scenario for creating marketing bill of materials. And this is the one I'll actually focus today on creating a PR, strategy, workflow, ideation together, and how you finally create a PowerPoint and present it out. So this is the one I'll focus on a live demo. And here you just have a simple scenario of a day in a life of a marketing manager. So how starting your day at 8 a.m., what you want to start doing in or what you want to focus on. That's where Copilot is there to help you out. And with that, I'll jump into the live demo. I'll start sharing my screen here. Okay. I hope everyone is able to see the screen. And again, if you have any questions while we are doing this demo, feel free to post it in the chat and we'll make sure to tee it up after and have some time there. So in this scenario here, I'm just going to play a role of PR marketer in my organization, which is Contoso. And here is this demo tenant, and I'm just every day working in my teams here. This is my team, and we have a group chat, called PR Marketing at Contoso, and we are just discussing some of the ideas. So I can come in here, start typing, hey, let's meet together to brainstorm ideas. Now we can meet virtually or in person together to start brainstorming ideas. And for that, I'll open my whiteboard. Again, if you are virtual, you can create a whiteboard and start sharing it out with your team. So with the share button on the top here, I can quickly add my team, or I can also just copy the link and share it in the Teams chat with my team so they'll have access to it. So while I'm here in this whiteboard, as you can see, I have this SWOT analysis template already open. But if you want something else, you can come into more options here, open templates, and really select what you're trying to do. If you're trying to solve a problem, and what kind are you looking at gap analysis, you can click on it and it will quickly add the template to your whiteboard. And that's how I created or started with this template. Now, where Copilot can help you is, so, now I have the strengths, weakness, and I'm just thinking around, okay, what do I add where? So that's where I can ask Copilot. So as I click on it, I'll go suggest ideas, and I'll ask it to suggest me some SWOT analysis ideas for the product launch. Product. And that's where now it understands what SWOT analysis is, and it will give me some of the ideas here, which is, what are the strengths, competitive advantages, or barriers to entries. And I don't like some of these, so I can always go back and ask it to generate more or edit my, prompt that I gave it. Because again, as we mentioned before, and through our series, is your prompt is the one that's helping you create the content. So the better your prompt, the better result you will get from Copilot. So as I generated it, so I'll just, unclick this. I don't like these ideas, but I like the other ones. And I'll go insert. Now it will just add it, on the side here. Now I can pick and choose which one I like and then add it to the proper. I'll just zoom out, and I can just pick and choose and add it to, whatever strengths, weakness bundle that I want to add. And obviously I can go in and make changes to it as well. Now, if I zoom in, you will see the tags or these, content that's created by Copilot is saying Copilot on the top. And the one that's created by my team or other people, you will see like on this one, it says Lisa Taylor. So that's the person who created. And if there are multiple people who created the content or edited it, so for example, in the case here, you will see Sonia and Lisa both, edited this one. So you'll always know what content is being created by whom, and now you can work together to edit it. You can also have, live editing together with your teammates once you share it out. So, for example, in the back end, you will see someone typing this message here, which is Lisa, my teammate, and she's working on, this whiteboard together. Again, you can use it in a virtual scenario or use it while you are in the meeting together in place. Now, again, as I said, I can go ahead, share this out, just copy this link, go back to my Teams chat, and for example, just I can share it out as a link here. Or what I can do is, if this is something we access every day, I can go on the tab on the top, search for Whiteboard. It's up here, and add it as a shortcut. So just like how you add other tabs, you can add this whiteboard as a shortcut on the top, so then your team can access it quickly. Now with that, I'll jump into another component is, once we are done creating those ideas, we want to make sure we align it, put it somewhere where we can, again, start collaborating it together. So I'll use Microsoft Loop for that. Now, Microsoft Loop is basically a tool where you can start creating live components for creating, sharing, or building ideas together. It has some of the cool features where you can, yes, edit together, just like you can do it in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, but also add content or ask Copilot to add content for you. So for example, in this case, I have already a workspace called PR marketing, and you can go in here and, create a new page or just go above and create a new workspace altogether. Now, as you see here, I have some pages in here, which is project ideas, voting table, and these are some of the loop components that have already been created. I can also do this if this is something that I need help with. I can copy this component, and again, in the flow of the work, go back and share it with my teammates here to fill out. So how Loop helps is like anytime I share Loop, my team don't have to go and log in into the Loop app separately to update the content. But what they can do is come within the teams right here, within there, and start updating or adding context to it. So as you can see, one of my teammate here is, starting typing it in right within the Teams interface, and it will update it back into the loop. So that's the advantage of Loop. You can add it to your Teams chat, your Outlook email, Word, PowerPoint, wherever you want it to be editable or present there. Now, how you can use Copilot here to help you. So I actually use Copilot to create this, content here. And because you can see, Copilot on this side, and I can ask Copilot to rewrite it, or I can come on the bottom here and then just by adding backslash, it will open Copilot and I can ask it to draft some content for me. Now I can also ask it to give me some ideas to create, brainstorm, describe something. So I just read brainstorm strategies to attract new customers using social media, since we are all about PR and social media strategy. So that's where Copilot can help you be effective and productive. Is you have some ideas in your mind or some questions in your mind that you are planning to create content for. So you can just put it out to Copilot. Again, no matter you are in Teams or in a loop kind of an interface, and Copilot will create the content for you. So once it has the content there, you can again, edit it or keep it as it is, and then share it out with your team. So as you see, it created the content. I can ask it to regenerate it or keep it as it is. Now, I'll again mention this is, anytime you create content through Copilot, it will always say this AI generated content can be incorrect. So it will always highlight that. And then there is a thumbs up and thumbs down next to it. So if you like the content, you can do thumbs up. And if you didn't like it or what it created is not right, you can dislike it and it will ask for some feedback. And, you can give in some more details and submit. So this is how Copilot can help you in Loop. So once we are done with this, I want to move ahead to, now we have some ideas around creating our campaign, but I want to look for creating a tagline for this PR announcement. Now I'll go back into my Teams because that's where I love to work, and my Copilot is sitting right here on the top, and I can ask Copilot to help me or suggest me a clever tagline for our product launch. So I'll come in here, ask it to suggest a tagline, and then see what it suggests. Now, again, if you provided more content, if you have some files or resources out there within your organization that you want Copilot to look into, you can provide that as a context and then start having a conversation with your Copilot with that, and it will make sure it uses that data to create the content that you're looking for. But otherwise, in this case, I just asked it a general question, and now it's giving me ideas around launching a PR announcement for a medical device. So it has some creative ideas, a new era of medical advancement or innovation of a healthier tomorrow. And again, I can copy this content, save it for me, thumbs up, thumbs down, as you can always see. And then once I create the content, it will always give me some more prompts around, can you suggest some more taglines? Or if I have some questions around, where it got these ideas from, I can always use that. With that, I'll jump into now, once we have the ideas generated in Loop and Whiteboard together, we brainstorm with our team. Now I have these cool ideas for the taglines. Now, next I want to do is draft my messaging, or, really framing up the presentation or pitch that I want to create. So with that, I can go into Word or PowerPoint and create the content from there. So in interest of time, I'll just jump into the PowerPoint flow. So I'll use my Copilot here and then ask it to create a PowerPoint using an existing file. And I'm assuming, all of the ideas and content that we have created is in that file. And I want it to create a presentation from it. So on the right-hand side, I open Copilot, ask it to create presentation from file. And as you see, it will open the recent documents that I've been accessing. And there is this Contoso marketing plan that someone shared with me, and I'll just click that, and that's the marketing document that I want to use to create my pitch deck here. Now it will process that document, and if it's the bigger, longer the document it is, it might take a little bit more time versus if it's a shorter document. And it will look into if the content that's in the Word document, also any images, and it will pull up that into different PowerPoint slides, as you will see here. And what you will see is before it even generates the slide, it will give you an outline for this presentation. So basically, it will let you know what it's trying to do. These are the different headlines. It's doing the introduction, company overview, target market, again, based on the content that's there in the slide. And as you see now, it's generating the slides for you. So once it's generating it, I can obviously go back to my teams, keep working on, chatting with my team or creating new information or looking for ideas as I can, or I can obviously just, wait here and for it to create these beautiful slides. So as you see, it drafted 16 slides in probably less than a minute, which is, amazing. I don't think so I can do that for sure. And now I can come in here, start seeing through. It has this Contoso marketing plan. It pulled up, really cool images with the introduction. It has a company overview, since we call it medical device, target market. Now again, content generated by Copilot, it's still in your control. So I can still come in here, edit something that I didn't like, or the number that it's pulled up, or any of the images, and I can go and edit it at my own time. Now again, once I have it done, I can quickly go ahead, copy the link to this PowerPoint, and go back to my team that I've been working with and share it out with them for review. And as you saw here in this demo, I was just doing my everyday work using my everyday Microsoft 365 applications, but having Copilot integrated with each of those apps helped me with some of the tasks. And it not only improved my productivity, but it also improved just my overall experience of getting things done. And now I'll hand it over back to Carrie.
Thank you so much, Jaspreet. I noticed it's about 4 minutes till 12:30 our time here in North Carolina. Just wanted to check to see if Philip Gutierrez, our guest speaker, is in the meeting. Want to make sure that we honor his time. By chance, Philip, if you are here, go ahead and raise your hand and we can move you up to presenter. I'll give him a moment. There he is. All
Yes.
right.
All right, we got Philip. Thanks for joining, Philip. Yes, you are. So
Awesome.
as we promised everyone, we have our special guest from our go-to-market team at Microsoft, and he'll talk us through how Microsoft marketing is using Copilot for marketing. So Philip, over to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me. First off, really excited to be here. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Philip Gutierrez. I am part of the go-to-market product marketing team at Microsoft for Copilot for M365, focus on business value, compete in industry, and all that good stuff. But here today, right, talk to you about my personal experience with Copilot for M365, since it's definitely, it's been a journey, right? And I think everyone who first gets the licenses and gets to play around with Copilot, I think it's really going to be like that for everyone. Not, when it's first, as soon as you get it, you're not just going to be like, oh my gosh, get all the amazingness out of it, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take practice. So if we go to the next slide really quickly, we'll share one slide here, but ultimately we're going to talk about a couple of my personal best practices before we get into the pillars that I have here. So one is just some general guidance, right? Like it really is, if we take a step back, it is a tool that you need to practice, right? It doesn't come as soon as you get it. You got to keep trying every single day, just a couple minutes, right? Because it is so crucial, because like you think about any type of big technological advancement in our lives, like it doesn't just, it's a muscle that you need to continue to work out in order to make sure it gets right for you specifically. So super important for me, because it took me a while to figure that out as well. And honestly, I love my peers and peer champs who are also able to educate me through my process as well. So as a marketer, I have a lot of peers in the marketing organization who'll be like, hey, Philip, have you tried this piece out of Copilot? Have you tried this in PowerPoint? Try this in Teams? And that's when the light bulb moments happen. So having that peer engagement is so crucial. The other thing that again took me a while to learn is, I think I think of it as just something as I ask a question, very vague, and I expect a very amazing response back, right? Like I think everyone would. As I start to learn more about it, it's like, you know what? Lack of a better word, vague in, vague out, right? So that the more you put the details and the questions that you have to Copilot, it's going to give you so much more back, right? And then that was one thing that took me a while to figure out as well. So the more details in regards to, hey, you pretend you're a marketer at Microsoft, and you give me a 5-page response with the very specific questions with bullets of answers, all that kind of stuff. Like the more of that type of detail you can give Copilot, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much more magical when you proceed. So just a friendly call out there. And then last but not least, I kind of go by these tenets when I talk to customers in my day is experiment, test, and learn. Right? Like I said, it's not a one and done thing. And the more you progress and experiment, it's not going to be right the first time, and that's okay. But it's going to allow you to really test things out and then ultimately learn, so that way it can become part of your day to day. So I'm going to go into the slide now. So as a marketer, I think a lot of folks are going to resonate with these two pillars. Is the first one on the left, right? Organization to the chaos. It feels like my days are riddled with meetings, with emails, and it's really just because we have to be everywhere, it feels like sometimes, right? And that has been something, even just early in my career, has been something that is like, oh my gosh, this takes a lot out of me. And one of the big things I took from Copilot, like, quickly, is the power that it has in Outlook and Teams, right? Like, oh my gosh, the way that it's able to, for example, if I'm in meetings, right, the intelligent recaps that I get, but then also the AI generated notes, and some of the big use cases that I've typically found the most useful is, let's say I come late to a meeting, right, because I just have back-to-backs all day. Rather than having to ask my peers and go, hey, can you give me what happened in the first 10 minutes? I can now just quickly toggle to Copilot, ask like, hey, in the first 10 minutes, what were the key actions that were called out? Were there actions specific to me, Philip, right? Like things like that. Copilot's really quickly able to generate all those notes, actions directed to myself. A fun one that I like to ask as well is sentiment, right? Like, hey, you know what? This was maybe a meeting that I'm the owner of, and I have a bunch of people, hundreds of people that I'm presenting to. How do I maybe understand, like, I can't read everyone's faces, or I can't catch everyone's comments. So I quickly ask Copilot for sentiment at the end. Like, hey, do you feel like people were happy with the presentation? Do you feel like there were some questions that maybe drove some challenges that I maybe need to prioritize post the call? It's able to very eloquently give me that feedback, right? So I would say meeting support has been so fantastic for me. Definitely something that I use probably the most. The other piece I want to add to it as well is the Outlook support, right? Says we all feel this pain of amount of emails that hit our inbox every single day. So how do we utilize Copilot in these instances to kind of make our lives a little bit easier, and again, bring organization to that chaos, right? So a couple big ones that I like to use is one. I'm sure everyone can raise their hands on this one, but have you all been added to an email and it's like maybe like you're like the last person to get added, and there's maybe like 20 to 15 emails below that you're trying to catch up on, and you're just like, oh my gosh, do I have to read every single piece of this, right? Like you're just sitting there like, this could be my whole day. Copilot can now be literally in these instances, your Copilot toggle comes up. You can ask a question like, hey, can you just give me a summary, 3 bullets of what has been set up to this point, right? And it can very quickly summarize all of that for you. Even better, it can summarize for you and be like, hey, look for the actions that were associated to Philip, and then outline them here as a potential response, right? It can now do that for you as well. I mean, that alone, again, has just saved me so much time in my day. It's just very thankful to have the capability to have that to help me out every day. So super fantastic day with the recaps. Again, the response support is great. So, I don't have to think of the right response. Copilot can help me out there. And then from there, I give it my 2 cents, right? Does it need to be tweaked? Does this feel right? Again, it's not always perfect, but it gives me a starting point, which I think is really fantastic. To switch gears, this is great, organization to quick chaos, but I think as marketers, right, we so much value our time because ultimately we want to use that time to create, right? We don't want to be inundated with the meetings. We don't want to be inundated with emails. How do we then spend this more time to create? And that has been a very crucial part of my Copilot for M365 experience, right? Because now that I'm saving time on the emails and the Teams meetings and all that good stuff, it has allowed me to just spend more time for myself to think about some of those creative tasks that I have. But more so, what I think I love about Copilot is it's giving me a moment to even become a bit more creative. And what I mean by that is I don't know if you all, again, raise your hands or not, who have writer's block, right? So example, if you had to start a big draft or a big proposal or maybe a big fireside chat, there's that moment there of just trying to get the first words on your Word doc, right? And you're just sitting there and you're just like, how should I start it? How should I get going? And again, for me, it could sometimes take an hour or even more, right? Of just trying to figure out how do I even begin? And sometimes it turns into procrastinating, right? Where you save it for later in the week. I'll give you a very specific example actually on this kind of challenge, right? So I had to actually develop a fireside chat dialogue for one of our senior executives at Microsoft. And it was between him and a customer, and it had to be 15 minutes long. I knew it had to have at least 3 to 4 questions, and it had a very specific topic, right, which was Copilot for M365 and business value. And for me, like, again, I had that moment of writer's block. I just sat there and I go, what am I going to type? Like, do I just start with like maybe getting some ideas on questions? So I paused and I was like, you know what? This feels like a Copilot opportunity here. So I very quickly type in like, hey, those same exact parameters. But this is a Microsoft webinar. Give me a dialogue of potential for 3 questions. It needs to span 15 minutes. So questions and answers. Here are the folks that are in the fireside chat. And it, again, in seconds, gives me a full draft of a fireside chat for business value, right? For Copilot for M365. And it actually did a pretty darn good job. And again, it doesn't, what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm done after that? Of course not, right? That means as marketers, you now have an opportunity of like a first draft, and you can now take a look at that, add your tweaks, add situations where you're like, oh, it didn't hit the mark there, so let's make some updates, or you know what, this was perfect, let's drive more of that. Like it got the ball rolling and allowed me to start to continue my creative process versus, again, starting from scratch, which can be really tough sometimes. So anyways, those are my big ones, I would say, for Copilot. I could probably spend all day talking to you all about so much more, but I figured I wanted to make sure you give the time back for everyone else to keep the presentation and the webinar going. So again, thank you so much for having me. Delighted to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Philip. That was phenomenal. I really appreciate your time in joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, everyone. So I'm going to go in reverse and we're going to talk more about the science, right? So you heard from Jaspreet as far as, more technical things of how you can leverage Copilot as a marketer. And we also talked about ask smart, get smart, right? So the first thing I want to do before we dive into another PowerPoint slide is I want to give you a prompt to try, or maybe 2. That way you can take something back with you if you have Copilot in your environment and you can play around with it. Sometimes we are in very diverse meetings, and you want to capture the sentiments of others who are on the call, right? So I'm going to post a prompt in our Q&A. Just give me a moment. It's going to come up, and it's going to say, there is a diverse group of people on this meeting. Show me or tell me the sentiments of each individual in a table format. And I'm going to put it in the chat so that you can copy it. But I thought that was a very cool way of even getting a different spin on the recap of the meeting and the tone of it. But now, as this one is coming up, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can further dive into prompting. My prompt is taking a minute to show up, so I will put it in the chat as soon as it opens up. But let's talk about the ingredients, the secret sauce to prompting. This is what's going to make you more productive and supercharge your productivity throughout the apps that you use. So you saw Jaspreet utilize Loop, Whiteboard. We heard Philip talk about email. He talked about, chats and being able to put together briefings. but you have to know what to ask. So make sure you focus on the goal of what you're looking for. Start with the end in mind and then have some context around that. You can always ask for sources, and Copilot will actually draw those sources if there are some. And with sources, you always want to verify and check. Remember, Copilot is not autopilot. So you want to make sure you're checking that context as well as the sources that are generated. And then set the expectations. If you want your response in bullet format, if you want your response in a table format, if you want 5 different responses, make sure that you're specific. And that is really how you're going to have some great ingredients for an effective prompt. You will receive this information, as Jaspreet said earlier, but tips for prompting in Copilot. Again, I can't say it enough. Continue your conversation. If you don't receive the response or the answer that you're looking for, keep probing, keep asking for more. You always want to review and verify the information that you're receiving. Sometimes when I'm recapping a meeting with my client, I'll include my Copilot notes from the meeting, and it'll say generated by Copilot. And I'll also have a note to say, please comment if anything's inaccurate. You always want to keep your responses can always be unique. So each time they're asked, sometimes it does look different. So keep that in mind. If you continuously ask the same question, the responses may be unique each time you ask. And then always write in the positive. You want to tell Copilot what you want, not what you don't want, okay? So make sure you're telling Copilot what to do. I am going to actually open up Copilot, and I have a few things that I'd like to share with you, one as refreshers and then also as a marketing example. So here is my Copilot platform. And for those of you, this is your first time on a call, I just want to make sure to lay ground rules. We have Copilot on our side rail within our office.microsoft.com interface. And then you have pre-generated prompts in the center of Copilot. Now, just as a reminder, you can start generating prompts by just clicking on these different icons here. I also put, well, let me take a step back. You also want to check here for any plugins. For us, I always turn on web content so that I can also search the web for any questions that I have. And then when you look at view prompts, this also gives you more prompts from Copilot Lab. So Copilot Lab is more extensive prompts that were already created within Copilot, and you can filter these by what you're looking to do. So let's say you're trying to catch up with your day. You can click on what's new, and then you could type in that person that you're looking to find out what's new from, especially if you're expecting some data or a briefing or an update for a campaign that you're running. You don't want to miss anything. So summarize Teams messages where I was mentioned this week. And then you also want to understand quickly. So let's say that you have a report, provide a comprehensive summary of my emails about, and then you put in that report. So I just wanted to show that to you. Make sure you take advantage of utilizing these different filters so that you can actually gain the benefit and also see the art of prompting. So these are more direct prompts. It can be a one and done, or you can keep the conversation going by adding more context. So I already have a pre-generated prompt in here, and it states, what are the work trend index insights for 2024? And I want to run that real quick just to see what happens. You know, within marketing, we're always looking at trends. You know, what are the insights that are happening throughout society? And specifically to AI, we know that there's going to be a robust of new work trends as it relates to remote working and working smarter and faster. So as you see here, we have conversation about hybrid work, digital transformation, upskilling and reskilling in employees, and then there's those resources. So I really wanted to make sure I could visualize this for you as Paul was talking about how he leverages Copilot by asking and prompting. Now, let's go into an example that relates to marketing. So I am in Excel. For those of you who have not utilized Copilot in Excel, please know it is in preview. So it works most of the time. But as it's in preview, we've been able to test it out with data. So I created similar data. I created hospital data right here where I just created a hospital name as North, South, East, and West. And you see the data here, okay? So Hospital North, Hospital South, Hospital East and West. And so what is my life cycle trigger? What are we looking for? First off, this is going to be an email open rate campaign during the holiday time. But in order to see the differences during the holiday time, I thought I'd put in the entire fiscal year per hospital per month. So our life cycle trigger would be welcoming new subscribers, appointment confirmation, preventative care email campaign, appointment follow-up because of no-show campaign, your annual physical, or billing, okay? We are looking at the fiscal month, and then we have total clicks, unique click-through rate, and then unique clicks, right? And then how many of those emails were sent. So this data is going to tell us some insightful information because we also know good data in means good data out. So we also look at the bounce rate, total bounce, if it's a soft bounce, hard bounce, and if it was actually delivered. So I want to run insights on this information just to compare hospitals. And so I'm going to click Show Data Insights. And while this is generating, I'm going to actually let it run its course, but I've already generated that first data set. And the first data set that opens up is about unique clicks by life cycle triggers. So billing, appointment confirmation, preventative care, and so forth. I just wanted to show you how simple you're able to grab insights by just a click of a button. The next insight that I captured when I said, show me more insights, it showed you the hospital area that had noticeably higher delivered emails. So it automatically delineates that information for you to be able to speak to the email campaign and what could be the why behind the lack of delivery from the East and the North hospitals. So as I mentioned, your lifecycle trigger pops up here under Copilot. This is the original show data insights link, and I can just add it to the new sheet, which I just showed you. And then there's a pivot table that you can add as well. So here's where you see, can I see another insight or add all insights to grid? Let's try that. And so it's going to actually insert right where you are into a second sheet, and it's going to be all of the insights pulled together. So I would say this will supercharge your day without a doubt. This will give you a lot of things to talk about from your data set, already have graphics that you're not spending a lot of time on, and it's just easy and seamless for you to review. So this was important for me to show you, just so that if you are working with data sets in Excel, this is definitely a good way to leverage Copilot. All right, so now I am going to turn it back over to Jaspreet as we start to wrap up the rest of our conversation.
Thank you, Carrie. That was awesome. So I know we have a lot of questions in the chat here, and we will get to it in a little bit. But before getting to the Q&A and closing it out, I know since people must be leaving, I want to make sure you have these resources that are upcoming. So again, the big one is the starter series, the link to the blog here. So you must have seen the ones that we have done before. We are done with 5 or 6 of them now and 3 more to go. So keep adding to it, keep sharing it out with others. And we have a couple of other resources as well. We have something called HLS Copilot Snacks, which are quick bite-sized videos for you to, quickly get yourself acquainted with how to create PowerPoint presentation from a file, or, how to do a summary in Outlook. So really just quick bite-sized videos for you to learn from there. Then there are some customer training workshops that are led by our product team. So you can click on any of those links. There are 3 different workshops that are happening, and it is available to all our customers. You just have to go into the link and sign up. And again, it's been recorded just like these webinars, so you would have access to it if you missed it as well. Now, in the next slide, you will see a lot of resources. And again, you don't have to copy it here, but we'll share this deck out, information out along with this recording on the same blog that you used to register. So you can just go back to there probably by tomorrow. You should have the resources up there. Now it has a lot of details on, just high level what Copilot is, the value of Copilot, end user adoption resources, a lot of good scenario library resources. For example, some of the ones that we showed today as use cases in marketing. And then on the last slide we have is, so again, there are, a few questions in the chat around if you have access to Copilot or Loop or, Whiteboard or some of the other things that we showed here today. So if it's specific to your organization, we would highly recommend that you reach out to your account teams because we won't know the answer to it. And I'm sure they'll help you figure it out if you have the right licenses or what you need to get access to whatever we demoed here today. And then keep signing up for the webinars, of course, spread the word. And then we have a few new resources that I added to the link here just to, for you to help know what Copilot is and how you can use it in different areas. Now with that, let's jump into the Q&A. Mike, do you want to tee up a few questions?
Sure, I'll start from the bottom from the beginning, which is, there's a lot posted out here today.
Yeah, I saw one of the questions again around using a template for a PowerPoint. So yes, you can do that. You can use a particular theme or a template that your organization uses, and I can share the link in the chat here. There's a few steps that you need to do that, but you can currently make that happen.
All right, so we'll start at the bottom. I've got a bunch of people saying hello, and we had people from all over, by the way, overseas today, as well as here in the States. Thessaloniki. I actually was there 2 years ago. I just had to say that. Thessaloniki in Greece, pretty awesome place. All right, so the first question that we have is, nope, that's not a question. I've joined. Joining. Will the slides be made available? Yeah, we already answered that. As the learning of Copilot is limited to 2021, how relevant would it be to use Copilot if it is not searching real-time data? Do you want to hit that one, or do you want me to?
Yeah, and I can start, and Mike, feel free to add in there. But so that's the difference between Copilot for M365 versus you using Copilot externally, which is on your Bing Chat Enterprise or just any other platform like ChatGPT. So Copilot for M365, because we want to make it more secure and make sure it's using all the governance policies and it's internal to your organization and it's not connected to the internet and sending the information out there. That's a big reason that it was connected to the internet, back in 2021, and it does not have a live connection to the internet. And if you are looking for or trying to use an AI for information that's out there and looking for resources that way, then we would highly encourage you to use the Copilot in our Bing Chat or Edge browser.
Yeah, and just to kind of follow on that, so the piece around the 2021, that was an early piece around ChatGPT in OpenAI, where they had a locked instance. We bring the instance in, and we're looking at your data in near real time. So the graph goes back to whenever data was in 365, all the way right to the present, up to about a 15-minute increment. So you do have access. It's not limited to 2021. That's number one. And if your organization elects to use the web plugin, that we provide, that provides the latest that's out there. We leverage Bing search for that. So it's the sum total of Bing searches, archival, and most recent. So right up till that day, those information is available. So just so you know, that pertained to OpenAI and their instantiation. That is not a limitation of ours. All right. Can we use Copilot as well in Miro?
Well, Copilot is currently just available in the Microsoft applications today. We don't have external connection to external third-party, yet. But of course, there are some extensibility options that are coming up, so it might be, an option. But currently, what we showed today and what we are focusing on, Copilot for M365, that only caters to applications within Microsoft.
Yeah, and just quickly expound on that. We do have the two ways to connect to external data sources if you do want to pull that in. So we have plugins and graph connectors, so that we can make available. There's over 1,200 graph connectors today for third parties. So if you did want to connect to external data sources, that's how those are handled. I'll put a link in the post and the blog resource around that for external connectors. But the other piece is, if you want to write your own Copilot to interface with another, we do have partners actually and organizations starting to write custom Copilots of their own, leveraging the services and things that we have out there to query other systems and to make data available there. So, there's various opportunities around that. So the short answer is, I don't know Miro, but those things are, if they're not here, they're coming. Is there a document to follow these instructions, please? I missed how you do the SWOT, and would it SWOT, and would it be very useful for my new launch?
Yeah, so again, this whole session is recorded. So if you missed anything, the recorded will be posted out. I think by tomorrow, you will have this document, the slides that we presented. So you can just go back and, watch and see how we did it. But yes, it's pretty cool. You can do that SWOT analysis template within Whiteboard.
Somebody else asked, and I'm going to not say their org name. Please don't say your org names if you don't. Because there's many people on here, but do we have access to Whiteboard and Loop at our organization, and has Copilot been activated?
So that's what I mentioned in the start, right? If you have very specific questions for your organization, please reach out to your account teams, your technical specialists there, and they'll be able to help you answer these questions and get you access if you don't have today.
Yeah, and talk to your IT. I mean, if they have it, they should let you know. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to find a file? Yeah, this is a great one. That is not one of the most recent files.
Yeah, so there is an option once you, opens the most recent files by default, but then there is an option below where it says more files or something like that, and it will look into your OneDrive. And if you don't see it yet, it's coming. I think it was one of the latest feature that was launched a few weeks ago, but I do see it in my Microsoft tenant today. So you should be able to do that.
And the last thing, if you're not finding the file, but you know the file, you can give it the URL. So if you go to the file and select the share and grab that shared link, you can just paste that in and it'll go ahead and do its magic. The next one was, can we create, I love this one. I'm gonna let you hit it, and then I want to talk to it as well. Can we create a presentation from several files and select several file documents?
Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you take it.
So the short answer is you can't select multiple documents yet. However, there's always ways of weaving your magic. So I actually did this for a customer during a presentation. Yeah, you like the hands? For a customer during a presentation where they had a bunch of PDFs on a public-facing internet, and I grabbed those. They were around medical devices, and they were very lengthy with, stuff for physicians to actually how to use them and all that kind of stuff. Grabbed the PDFs, I dropped them into my OneDrive, and what I did was I did this in Word and in PowerPoint. The prompts are all important. Be specific with your prompts, what you want. I included the titles of 4 of the documents in my prompt, and it grabbed the data from all 4. So although I didn't give it the URL or find it, I was able to cite the document itself, and it grabbed the data from the document.
That's a great one. And I think you can still use the M365 chat experience, in Teams or in the browser, just to look at the different files, right? At the same time, ask it to summarize content. And the more keywords, as Michael said here, you provide, and it will pull the context from all of those, different keywords or files that you ask it to.
The next is there a way to teach Copilot branding standards, voice, design, etc., so it automatically uses those branding standards as its base?
Wow. That's an interesting one. So in PowerPoint, you can use the branding templates today, and I did share the link in the chat on how you can do that. But I don't think so. We have the sound and design inbuilt yet.
Yeah, you're correct, and it's I do know the one thing. Did you mention the SharePoint library? The one that's coming? So there is a SharePoint. It's really intended at marketing. I forget the exact term for it, but it's to have a library repository of corporate branded images. So that will be available soon, and that was announced a while ago. It's coming. And if you dump all those images in, as you create the content with imagery, like in a PowerPoint, it'll automatically default to that for grabbing images instead of our royalty-free content. So that's coming. Awesome. Can we use existing templates to create PowerPoint?
Yes, we shared that.
Yep. Could we ask Copilot to generate slides using specific theme or slide? I don't know what a slide mask is. It says or slide mask.
Yeah. Not
Anybody
sure.
on that? I mean, you can open a theme. You can use a theme to start with, or a template, which it'll use the theme from that. But you can't prompt it to go ahead and go do that at this point. How to best prompt Copilot to visualize content. Example, creating a list in a smart graphic or putting content into a workflow diagram. I don't think we're doing that at this point.
Yeah.
That's a great one, but I think the answer is no. Not at this point. That's one of those. Stay tuned.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling if you do, because there's a number of features, like translation's a great one example of it. You go in, you think, oh, because I can do translation in Word, translate my document, and it'll prompt you with the directions as if you went into help and looked. And I have a feeling that's what you'd get here. Would like to see how Copilot integrates with Planner. So we could tee that up for another.
We have Copilot coming in Planner. I can share the new link here. It's a complete new planner that we are launching. It's a premium version though. So there's a lot more new things happening with Planner as well. And I know, I think we already announced it maybe last week or this week. It was
We did.
happening.
We
in
did. You're
April.
safe.
Yeah.
You won't get fired.
Yeah. So we can share the link here. So definitely Planner is completely new with Copilot in it.
Can Copilot add additional details to PowerPoint slides or Word from the web? That's a good one.
Additional details.
From Word from the web. I actually have a way that they can.
Go ahead, Michael.
So
Share your
so
tips.
if you're in the Word from the web version, you'll know that as a part of that, if you query it and it generates content, one of the options, I mean, you can copy and paste, yeah, but you want to add it directly in. So there is that piece where you can add to web page. There's that little box, I think it's in the lower right of it. I haven't gone into it in a bit, but when you click that, it'll add it if you have a web page open that's editable. If you open up Word in Word for web, or you have PowerPoint, any of those that where you're in a web-based view, could be Loop. You mentioned Loop today, right? Loop in the web view. It will just automatically, where the cursor is, it'll place the content. So that's available today. That's been around for a bit. And you can do the same with your SharePoint pages. The same.
I know we are over time here, so maybe we can take one last question and then
last
close
one.
this.
All right. How can you select a couple of different files where you collate them that Copilot then should use them as the basis for creating for something? It says, for example, a PowerPoint presentation. We don't do that today. I don't believe. Or can you do that from chat in Copilot?
You can summarize different documents. Yeah, from that chat experience, it can look at
I know we can do
documents for
compare
you.
and contrast,
Yeah.
but I don't think it does like taking multiples and then spitting out a PowerPoint yet. I think.
Yeah. No, not yet. You can
Okay.
select multiple documents, as you said. But if you want to, I think another way to do it is if you want to pull all that context in one document and then use it to create a PowerPoint. But yeah, and we can check on the roadmap. Maybe that's coming up.
Yeah. So there's still questions. I know we have to close up for today. But what we can do is if you go on to the post, when we post this, we are doing Copilot snacks and the more lengthier Copilot workflows. And that's an ongoing where we're going to just start cranking out by demand. So if there's things that you're looking for us to show, if it's possible for us to show it. Also, we answer questions on those posts, or, so feel free to go in and post that. But I'll let you all close it away and I'm going to shut up.
Thank you, Michael. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed our marketing scenarios and use cases for Copilot for M365. Again, all of this, the session we did today, recording and the PowerPoint slides, our discussion here will be recorded and available on the same blog that you used to register for this session. And we have the link here posted by Michael as well. And yeah, keep your questions coming. You can put it on the blog as suggested. And if you have any ideas, what new sessions would you like to see? We would love that feedback. Carrie, anything from you?
Nothing at all. Thank you all for coming. Take care, all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.